Hi, Bizzy here with another Bizzy diary. This will be number 2 of my new series where I get a little bit more vulnerable when I record. I did decide to come outside in the woods today for this one because I couldn't pass up such a wonderful, beautiful, sunny spring day. And something happened today where I've been doing some work on figuring out what my self-limiting beliefs are, and I was triggered today, and because I didn't want to, I don't know. I'm gonna talk this through, and then it might make sense after I talk this through. So anyway, something triggered me where I thought I made a mistake, and I immediately went into panic mode. I thought it was a big mistake. It wasn't really in the grand scheme of things, but in that moment, I went into all those what if scenarios, like, what if I did make this mistake? Oh my gosh, this is really bad. I was being careless. I shouldn't have made this mistake, and like all of these, I guess, negative thoughts just started spinning in my brain, and I was unable to, in that moment, recognize that it was okay. Like, I knew I was panicking. I knew I needed to just deep breathe, but I still felt like this wave of emotion about the mistake or the possibility of making the mistake. And I think all the time, like, logically, and understand that that's how you learn. You make mistakes, and I actually kind of like making mistakes because I learn better that way. Because when I was younger, I would focus so much on being perfect, and anytime one little tiny thing like that I'd mess up and I would get any kind of disapproval, I would really take it hard and internalize that and think that there was something wrong with me because I made a mistake. So I definitely experienced a lesson today once I had calmed myself down, and I had some help getting calmed down today. Thankfully, there were some there was assistance around me in the form of emotional support, and to help me get back in the moment and to kind of like let that go until everything got figured out. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that at the time I was in a place where I had some people around who recognized that I had been triggered because of past traumas, and they knew that I was struggling to focus and stay in the moment. And I'm really grateful that I had that today. And normally I do all that stuff myself, and I don't ask for help. And I've been in lots of different situations where when I was panicked or triggered, I wasn't given support, emotional support in those moments, and it would just perpetuate that self-negative thinking in regards to making mistakes. So I really learned something today because I had the support, and it actually turned out that there wasn't an actual nothing was actually really wrong in the end. So it was a big learning lesson for me, and I think for everyone around too. We kind of joked about it being a lesson. We all learned something from the situation. So it was just really good to be in a high vibration environment for once. I don't know, I'm really grateful that I was able to work through that. And then later today, obviously, where I'm here now, I went on this walk in the woods, and that always helps me calm down and feel better and get my nervous system back on track. And it really sucks sometimes to be triggered, and then your entire body just sort of, I don't know, I got really hot. I knew something was off, something didn't seem right. And it also kind of clued into my intuition, because I knew that there was something that wasn't making sense at the time. So I kind of got some confirmation there also. In addition to me having to let go of my self-limiting beliefs, I also got some confirmation about my intuitive skills, and that I shouldn't doubt myself when I'm feeling any kind of, I guess, shift in energy within myself. So ultimately, I learned something, and this is one of those self-limiting beliefs that I've struggled with, and I've mentally worked through this, logically, mentally worked through this for years, and then it still sneaks up on me. So I'm actually like making sense of this now as I'm speaking out loud, because talking out loud actually really helps me get my brain to focus. And it's kind of like things are connecting, and I'm understanding why I have that belief. It's past programming from parental figures and work environments where I wasn't allowed to make mistakes, I guess you could say. And as a kid, you can't be, let's just say, I was expected to know how to do things without being shown how to do them. So I would have this experience as a kid where a specific adult in my life would assume that I should just already know how to do something, but I wasn't shown how, and then I would be subtly, or sometimes overtly, if no one else was around, be told, "What is wrong with you? What, are you dumb?" Let's see, there's a few other phrases. I don't know, but it's the "what, are you dumb? Like, why didn't you know that?" kind of attitude, like, coming at me from an adult figure, and I'm just a kid. So that came up for me today in this current situation, and I was like, man, it's like going all through my body, and it was really rough for me to feel that, and I was like literally shaking, because obviously with my trauma background, my nervous system sometimes it gets hijacked, and I'm so glad to be working through this program that I've been working through this week has drastically increased my confidence in myself, and that I have an understanding now that certain things in the way I was treated when I was younger weren't okay. It wasn't okay for me to be degraded and criticized and put down by this particular individual in my life. It was always when no one else was around too, so it was this very covert thing. And then this person would go around to everyone and control the narrative about me and who I was, and I lived that way for 40 years until I estranged myself from this person 2 years ago, roughly 2 years ago. And I'm better now that this person isn't in my life, but this person doesn't want to let me go and has tried to invade my current life, with cyber stalking and family gossiping and sending people in to infiltrate, to try and get information. There's more than one person involved in this whole thing, trying to covertly, within a group, gaslight me, like I've been gaslit my whole life, to think that there's something wrong with me. it was the environment. It was the environment that I was in, and it was the people around me, like, not accepting me and not letting me just be, and wanting to puppet me and direct me what to do and control my whole life. It's like chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. And it's a really unfortunate thing. However, I will say that this place where I'm at, in my moment, here in the woods, the sun is shining down, I feel really good right now in this very moment. And if all of the things prior to where I'm at now hadn't occurred in the way that they occurred, I wouldn't be here right now, sitting here recording this video. There might be some other version of me somewhere if things had been different. And I love who I am. I am really proud of myself for growing and becoming the person that I am today. And I'm at peace now, I think. I'm working towards it anyway, with accepting that I had to let certain people not have access to me as a preservation reason, because I'm getting a little, I'm starting to get a little worked up here. I think I'm still probably have some residual energy trapped inside in regards to this, and I felt really guilty and shameful that I had to leave situations and social groups to survive, to like mentally, spiritually, physically survive. And there are parts of my story that are kind of scary. And to think that anyone thinks that they have any kind of ownership over me at all. I am a free, sovereign human being. Well, I'm actually a spirit living a human existence. But my point is, no one on this planet or otherwise has any right to interfere with my free will. So it doesn't matter who you are. You can go around and say you're trying to protect me and that's why you don't want me to be seen. That's not true. That's a control issue that anyone out there, here, I'm getting all worked up because now I'm feeling energies that have interfered in my awakening and have interfered with my path towards educating others on spiritual stuff and my purpose. There's so many people that interfered with this. I didn't get support from friends and family members, and here I am trying to do this YouTube channel when I started 2 years ago when everything in my life was falling apart. I was homeless. I recorded a lot of these videos when I was homeless, and I was so grateful to be in the woods and connected to the earth. And it didn't matter that I didn't have a home at the time when I was going through most of that. What mattered was that I stayed true. I stayed true to my heart. I stayed true to my faith. I knew that I was being guided, and every time that I chose my intuition over what someone else tried to tell me what to do, I was always led to a better place when I chose my heart and I chose my intuition. So I think what I'm learning here is that I have some of this stuff still trapped in my body, and that's why I responded in the way I did today. But I will say, I worked some of that out because there was a lot of laughter, like later in the day after what occurred had occurred, and that was a release. So it's just another one of those things that proves that joy and laughter and fun raises your vibration no matter how you feel. And I love being joyful. So many times in my life when I was in a good mood or happy, I would have people in my life be like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you acting that way?" And they would be so condescending and not supportive of when I was like accomplishing things I was proud of. Yet if I people pleased and did what they wanted me to do, that's when I would receive praise. And it was a real shit show in my brain. You know, like, we shouldn't be programming kids to be puppets. Children are the most wonderful blessing on this planet. And many of them coming through and being born in this era that we're in when all this chaos is here, a lot of these kids are gonna have knowledge of their past lives. And it's important that they're nurtured, and it's important that they're heard, because there's sometimes more wisdom in a child than there is in an adult, depending on how or what that spiritual frequency is within that human being. So I've learned so much from my own child, which is part of my spiritual awakening story. It was when I became a mom that I realized I wasn't self-caring. I gave and gave and gave and gave and gave until I broke. And I'm grateful for that, because I was able then to reflect, and that was like the beginning point of my journey to where I needed to learn to love myself. And then eventually I figured out that I am love. We all are love. It's the highest frequency there is. And my life has been better and more fulfilling when I focus on that. Like, no matter what else is going around in my life or where I am, if I can help myself maintain that frequency of being in love with myself, because I deserve that, and I deserve to feel safe, and I deserve to do the things that bring me joy, and I deserve to explore and go on adventures and do these things that just fuel my soul. And I like sharing those things, and I'm allowed to share these. I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to make this YouTube video to share to everyone. I'm allowed to express myself in whichever way I want. I'm allowed to say what I want, because it's my story. This is my story. Just to make that clear. Sorry, I get a little worked up sometimes because I know that there's still some residual energy there that I've got to work through. So we'll just leave it at that. But I don't know. Today was pretty monumental. I feel like the momentum overall is increasing in such a fast rate, because all of the work that I've done with my healing is sort of like, it's sort of coming together now. Or bits and pieces of it. Things are coming together now that didn't make sense before, and now they're making sense. And there's so many things that I doubted in myself in the past. And as I sit here and reflect on those times when I was doubting myself and wondering, well, is that my clairsentient gift? Is that my intuition telling me something? And most of the time it was. I was usually right. And if I was wrong, I would always have a hard time saying I was wrong. So I'm going to work on that too. Like, I admit now if I make a mistake. And I try to say I'm sorry, like in the moment and when things are occurring, so that whatever is happening then can just be let go and the air can be cleared. And no one's perfect. And if I'm given information, like say I think something is one way, and then later I'm given information that contradicts what I thought at first, and I'm willing to accept that, okay, well, now I have this new information. Maybe I should think about this and come up with a different viewpoint because I've been given new information that changes the whole scenario, basically. So, with that, here's my spiel. I was vulnerable. I feel better now. This feels really good to actually like record my thoughts in the moment as if I was writing a diary. And I'm really proud of myself. I tried not to keep a diary when I was a kid because I had a nosy person in my life. And that's why I value my privacy so much. Except for when I'm feeling expressive, like I'm feeling expressive now. Of course I want to share. And I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to still have privacy, yet at the same time, I'm also allowed to share. So I'm really glad I worked this out today here on this video, and hopefully it might help someone else out there who might also be reflecting about anything related to what I just said here today. So with that, I hope everyone has a great day. Listen to the birds, get some sunshine, and everything is just gonna get better from here. I have this great, wonderful feeling that things are shifting. Sometimes the chaos brings calm. They always say that, right? Calm comes after the chaos.